Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode tonight. This is Arrow Short Film Special. This is an episode where J-Mac and I have reviewed a few short films that have been kindly sent to us at the fine folks from Arrow and Fetch Media. I would like to thank Genevieve, Tom and Josh for always hooking us up with these really talented people. So it's definitely very much appreciated. And you guys get to enjoy these very amazing film recommendations. Coming up on the show, we have the film Smile, which, by the way, is not Smile that everybody thinks it is. It's a short film, Smile. Isn't it, J-Mac?
It is, Kevin. Thank you for having me on. I'm just sitting here like this.
Usual, man. Usual.
Yep. Something inside me tells me that Smile, I think, might have been a short film before it was a feature as well, like the horror film that came out last year.
Something
the year
inside
before.
me. You mean something. IMDb? IMDb's no inside you.
I is man, shut up here.
You're lying. You're lying.
I might be wrong though. Something's telling me it might be, but I could be 100% wrong. But it's not based on. It's not that. It's not based on that. It's its own entity, if you pardon the pun. Great wee short horror film.
Yeah.
What I love about short horror is it really doesn't take. Obviously, it doesn't take a lot of time. You get sucked in. You get sucked in, and then you've got. This film in 6 minutes puts you through all the emotions you would normally experience in an hour and a half. It's really, really well done. This was directed by
Susannah Farrugia.
No, it wasn't. That was that was Itch.
Oh, aye. No, this was Joanna Tsanis.
Yeah, this was Joanna Tsanis. Do you want to do that again?
No. Just leaving it in. Here. Why would I ever just edit myself to make myself look great? No. We have two incredible guests with us tonight. One is Susannah Farrugia, which she created a film called Itch, and the other is Joanna Tsanis. Now, we didn't know what to expect. Obviously, this episode is a pre-record, so we're not live. So everybody that's messaging in the comments, apologies. We can see you. We'll be there. Just we're not here. We did not know what to expect, and both of them are absolutely crazy cool. And we put those two words together. Now, they're very cool people, and I'm very happy that people that have such great appreciation for horror are making horror films. It's great to see, and they're supported by Arrow, right? What else can you really ask for? Arrow do a lot of good work with a lot of independent artists. We'll call it artists because that's what they are. Yeah. So we're very happy to have reviewed this. You can go and check both of these films out, Smile and Itch. You can check them out on the Arrow player. Go into your app store on whatever iPhone/phone you use, and was it iPhone and Android? Get on the App Store. Get on the App Store, mate. I'm not well. I've had a Lemsip, a Red Bull, 2 cups of tea, and I'm sure there was something else there. I'm so ill. But fighting through it. I don't want
you go, girl.
Don't send me any flowers. So yeah, you can go check out the Arrow app store on the App Store, the Arrow player, and sign up and watch both of these incredible short films. But there's tons of great stuff on there as well. Also, we get into it a bit, myself and Susannah, a bit about just how good the physical releases are from Arrow. Not to be missed. You can definitely get them at all your HMV stores. Go into CEX to get some if you want, but it will reek a BO and you'll get no customer service, right? But it's still worth it. Still worth going in for your Arrow release. And by the way, screw CEX. Screw CEX.
CEX. Sorry, we can't find it.
CE. What's that smell?
Application form. Are you reeking? Tick. Go to the job.
Dude, I did tell you I went in to kind of trade in a PSP, an old thing I had, and the guy's like, "Yes, we have we have a standard here." I went, "No, you don't." Screw them, man. Screw them.
The standard is can I hold it? Aye.
I know. So, without further ado, the first on the great guests we have today is for the film Smile. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Come on, son.
Wait a minute.
Joanna Tsanis.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joanna Tsanis. Joanna Tsanis, the director and the creator of Smile. We were lucky enough to watch this. I watched it last night. I watched it last night for the second time because I like to get a little bit more. I like to watch a second time to see if I missed anything the first time. And see, to be honest, we actually don't get sent a lot of shorter films, which for me I thought was great because you can, if you've got such a small amount of time to tell enough of a story to make people want more, I think that's what they call the sweet spot. So have you always been a lover of horror, or is this a new kind of part for you to do something in the horror vein?
Yeah, horror has been it's always been my favorite genre, and I think it's because when I was younger, I would spend summers in Greece because that's where my family is, and
nice.
In the afternoon it was really hot, so we'd have to stay inside. And I'm sure you guys are familiar in Southern Europe, what's on TV in the afternoon. Very different than what's on TV in Canada in the afternoon. And I remember as a kid, that feeling of like kind of peeking behind the curtain and seeing something you're not supposed to see, that sort of captured me. And I think I've pinpointed it. I think that was the moment when I started really liking genre film and in particular horror film, and definitely monster movies. That'd be my favorite subgenre.
Speaking of monster movies, this one, the good thing about short movies is you never actually know what you're sitting down to because you don't get big trailers out for them that give the whole film away in one fell swoop. So I was pleasantly surprised to see what we saw in this one.
Yes.
I really wasn't expecting it. It was so cool. The design was phenomenal. Who designed the creature?
So the creature design was by Adrian Bob, who also did the VFX supervision. And then the actual creature was built by a practical effects studio called Butcher Shop Effects Studios. And they are like legends in Ontario. Every Canadian horror film you see that has a fabulous monster in it is generally made by them. And yeah, I was very fortunate to have this entire monster team. And we really wanted to be very thoughtful with building the monster and make sure it was connected to the theme, make sure even with the sound was connected with the way the monster looked and the textures. And we had a lot of really awesome conversations, which I promise didn't involve psychedelics, but they could have because they got pretty out there. And that's what's great about monster movies is there's so much craft, even just the monster alone, because you're building, not only are you building a figure, but you're also building a lore that goes along with it. So it was a very, very cool experience.
Absolutely. We've seen the return of the monster / creature, but in small little dribs. I mean, what was the film we saw with the boy for what's his name? It's because I'm ill. I can't remember.
Barbarian. Yeah,
right.
Barbarian.
We started to see the return of these kind of things, and it's been lost for a long time. I think last 10 or so years, it kind of went to the paranormal type of stuff, found footage, and then we kind of what we're missing right now is good slasher and good creature features. I see when I was watching Smile, I was like, oh great, because one, there's a lot of suspense in it, like. That's something again that a lot of the time, obviously with this is a 6-minute movie, so you don't have a wide, for the amount of tension that you managed to put in on something that was 6 minutes was great. I can imagine if it was a feature, there would have been a lot more suspense before being able to actually reveal. There was 2 parts that I actually loved, right? One is, did you get any inspiration from Jack Nicholson as the Joker for one of the scenes? Because I saw that and I went, yes! And I hope that was a nod. I hope that was a nod, was it?
There are some things that as we were building that gag with the smile, which I assume is what you're referring to.
Yes.
As we were looking at it, I was thinking, this is getting very heightened reality. And I remember the Butcher Shop, the guys at Butcher Shop, they said, are you okay with it being this heightened reality, or do you want it to to feel really like someone's stretching, or do you want it to feel like we're entering this kind of ethereal realm? And I did think of the Joker, and I did also think of The Mask with Jim Carrey, like, and I was like, you know what? I think it works, because it is.
Yeah.
I think that we hit the right balance there, because it does look like it's not entirely realistic, but it's also kind of a nightmare, so it works.
Yes. And I thought I kind of felt
it worked. It was horrible to look at. Well done, congratulations.
I kind of felt that
we've seen a lot of horrible things on movies, but that was really horrible. Well done.
Do you know, a part of me laughed at a certain point, and I've got a screen grab here of a certain part, and the reason I laughed so hard was because I was like, I used to growing up, I've got a little sister, she's like 3 years younger than me, and what I would do sometimes if we were carrying on is I'd pin her down and grab her cheeks, and the desired effect was always this.
God.
So,
anyone who has a fear of the dentist should not watch this short film. This would send them into a whirlwind.
Open wide.
Yeah, you're going to lose 90% of the audience by saying.
I actually felt that it was quite was a lot of metaphor here, because the woman herself, she's obviously going through a really crap time, and she just has no reason to smile. And then the bad guy shows up and is like, "Well, I'm going to give you a reason."
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that
sort of a dark irony for sure. You know, it's kind of like the monster is a manifestation of how she's feeling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is this dark irony of, you know, she wants to be happy. Her mom wants her to be happy, as you see in the opening, which the voice was Ashley Lawrence from Hellraiser. We were very fortunate that she was able to participate in this whole film. And and it is. You're absolutely right. It's a dark irony that it's like, okay, she finally smiles, but it's not quite what you'd expect. So definitely a thematic aspect for sure.
There's something about when creating a horror, right, that I always think this is where it really goes into the real creative aspects. When it comes to like creating a monster or a slasher, right, so much has already been done that it must be so hard for you to kind of visualize something and then go, right, this is what I see. Like for me, if I come up with something, I draw it in stick, man. I honestly can't really take the image from here and put it to paper because I'm crap at drawing. Did you have how did you describe this character, the monster? For me, kind of what I saw was, have you ever seen the live action Death Note film? Where Willem Dafoe plays. There was for me there was a hint of that. Yeah, there was definitely a hint of that for me. And then there was. What's good is I can't actually say, it's like this, which is great for when you're coming up with something original and creative. What were how did you get it from your head to the people that were going to create it? What was that like, kind of telling them, here's what I see? Did you have certain characters that you kind of said, here's kind of what it's like, but a bit more junky?
So what we did was, first I met with the creature designer and I sort of described the background of the creature. I talked about how the creature is constantly in pain, and that because the creature is constantly in pain, the only way for the creature to get what it wants is to kind of push that pain onto its host, which would be Miranda in this short. So, Anna in this short. And so we kind of had a conceptual discussion at first about what a creature who is constantly in pain would look like. And something that I had mentioned was I really liked the idea of the creature also having this grin that's being pulled by barbed wire and that's being forced. And the creature is in pain. And then that kind of translated to teeth sounds. So when we started talking to the sound designer, it was like, we want clattering teeth sound. And it went from there. So it started off with that basic concept. And then the creature designer started creating some sort of mock-ups of it.
Nice.
And then he had recommended, he was like, well, let's go with hair, because hair always looks really great on a creature. And I was like, awesome. Yeah. Like, maybe the barbed wire can be tangled in the hair. And it was a very cruel conceptual process of how can we make this creature look like it's constantly in pain, and also while causing pain to Anna, its host.
Its hair's quite nice, actually, to be honest. Like the hair of all its features, the hair is actually not that bad. You know, I like the poster as well.
Vibe, yeah.
The official poster to me says, "Let's turn that frown upside down."
Yes, exactly.
You know, which is I like. You can see that a lot of thought and heart has gone into creating this. What if you were told tomorrow, okay, we're going to make this into a feature, you know, with planned sequels? Do you have a backstory for the creature? Is it all mapped out for if and when that was to happen?
I have a whole backstory for the creature, but I kind of, just want this short film to be its standalone piece. However, I actually just recently finished my first feature film, and it's a monster movie with a whole new monster with a whole new set of lore, which I'm really excited to explore. Some similarities for sure in terms of the theme, but it's a whole new creature, so really excited about that.
This being Bloody Bites.
The feature, no, the feature is going to it's just finished now, and I have to stay hush about it. But you guys posted on it. Hopefully, I can come back.
Yes, absolutely. Can you tell us anything about the creature and what it's like?
He's spooky.
That's enough.
Fair play.
It's spooky. Yeah.
You win this round.
Obviously the movie is only 6 minutes long. You can tell that there's been a lot of effort put into making this look and sound great. How long did it take from obviously you wrote it, but from the start of filming it to getting it finished for the finished product, how long did it take?
I think it took about a year. Like, I wrote the initial script, and the initial script was actually 2 pages long. It was just the rip, because I really was in love with that gimmick. Like, I kind of thought of the gimmick first and then built the script around it. And then I connected with the producer, Zeus Kontoyanis, at a festival, at an online festival, because this was during COVID. And he read the script, and his production company, Zeus Pictures, brought it on. And he was the one that recommended, why don't you make it a little longer than 2 minutes? Why don't you add a little bit of build up? I was like, okay. So then that's when I added the voicemail at the beginning, her walking and seeing the photo, and kind of that build up, which I think, he was right on the money. I think it really adds a lot. So that was the process. And then filming was, I believe it was a 2-day shoot. And it was, and there was some process in pre-production of kind of walking through the location, and we didn't do a storyboard. We just kind of walked through the location, used stand-ins, took photos. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. What was it like?
Good work for 2 days.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
we made a short film, and it was 15 minutes long and took us a year. So we understand.
Oh, wow.
It was supposed to be shorter, but there was just so much we chucked it in. But we definitely have a respect for people that can get it done in a good amount of time and make it look and sound as good as it does. What was the process like getting Ashley Lawrence involved? Was she someone that you already had encountered, or did you kind of be a huge Hellraiser fan and thought, here's where it's at?
That's exactly. We reached out to her team, and I think we got lucky in a way that because this was during lockdowns, a lot of artists were inside and wanted to create art. So maybe that had something to do with how this like mega star agreed to lend their voice to to this little short film, and we're very, very appreciative that she did that. And we did it on Zoom, like the recording. It worked out really great. She's so talented, and I am a huge Hellraiser fan, so I was very, I was fangirling for her.
Hell yeah. A good friend of ours made a documentary about Hellraiser. It's called Leviathan. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I've got to check that out.
You should definitely check it out. They themselves say that's the weakest thing they've ever done, but they're very, very modest of their own work. But it's very, very good. Gary Smart and the guys over at was it Dead Mouse Productions. They also done one on RoboCop recently. I don't know if you saw the new RoboCop. It's like a series feature. Those guys are great at pulling back films and getting all the best information and interviews from all the guys involved. I know that Ashley was involved in that as well. But it's good. I'm glad that someone like yourself that has a love for horror and has a love for, films like, how many girls do you know that love Hellraiser? How many guys do you know that love Hellraiser? I know about 3 guys that love Hellraiser. So I think that's amazing.
In Toronto, there's this great theater, Tiff Bell Lightbox, and they do a kind of midnight screening once a month. And they did the Hellraiser sequel, and I brought just like a group of friends there, and with it was a mixed bag in terms of responses. Like, you're like, why did you bring me to this? But it was very cool, and I love midnight audiences. I love genre audiences. That's the best way to watch a horror film, is with a huge group of horror fans. If you get the best reactions, and on the festival circuit with this short, being able to attend different horror festivals. It was at Sieges. It was at Fantastic Fest. I wasn't able to attend Fantastic Fest, unfortunately, but and FilmQuest. FilmQuest had a great crowd as well, and all these festivals, people. They love the craft so much, and they're fantastic audiences. Just hearing their reactions, it's priceless.
Yeah. It's the horror family, and that's what it is. It's a family. You know, there are movie lovers, and then there are the horror family, and that's where you can kind of, like, I'll see someone with a T-shirt that has a saying on it, and it's a film that no one's ever heard of, but we know. If you know, you know, right? Absolutely. It's been amazing to have you on. I, for one, will say that horror is in good hands if people like yourself are the ones making it, people that love horror to the roots and not just trying to do it for the financial gain. And we're sick of seeing reboots and all this, so it's good to see some original content. I would love to see Smile and what comes next for that, because I thought there was a lot there to unpack that kind of leaves you wanting more. So very much good luck with that. Everyone at home can watch this on the Arrow app. We don't actually release short films on physical anymore, do we? I don't think. No, physical release. So it is just the Arrow app then, the UK version and US. That's right. You can go ahead and download the app on any smartphone and look up Smile and go ahead and watch it, because everybody that watches this show would enjoy it. I know that for a fact. Our community. J-Mac, is there anything else you'd like to ask Joanna before we let her go back to the world of horror?
Just the casting process for Anna. How was it a big casting call, or was it a quick few phone calls to a few people that you had in mind, or?
I have my first short film I ever directed, Imagine a World, which is on Alter right now. It played in front of a film called Anything for Jackson at Fantasia, which is a fantastic film, and I highly recommend it. And the star of Anything for Jackson, Constantina Mantelos, that's how I connected with her. And my short was kind of following their feature at a bunch of different festivals, and we ended up connecting like over social media. And I thought she was so incredible in Anything for Jackson. So we just sent her the offer. There wasn't an audition process, because we knew we had seen a feature with her in it. We knew what we could do, and so very excited that we got to work together, and we've worked on other things since then as well.
Yeah, she was fantastic. I mean, I think a lot of actors like to shy away from horror a little bit, because fear is one of the hardest emotions to fake, basically. But she does a damn good job. Yeah. And I loved it. I loved it and hated it at the same time, because it was fucking horrible. but it works. It does what it's supposed to do.
I wanted to disgust people, so I'm glad that I managed to achieve that. And I'm glad that you guys love monster movies, because I definitely agree that we need to see sort of a resurgence of them. One of my favorite monster movies is Pumpkinhead. And then I think it's awesome. I know that people are tired of reboots, but I would see a reboot of Pumpkinhead as long as it's justice, and obviously the Babadook as well. Fantastic design in that. So I'm hoping to see a resurgence of more monster movies, and I think people love monsters.
Well, you should be the one to start it. Let's go.
Yes. I hope so.
Well, she might have already, but she won't tell us anything about her new feature.
That'll be the next podcast.
Yes, so we will wait with bated breath, and maybe you can come back on and we'll talk about this new feature, and we can talk about the creature, and it'll be fun, and we'll all be smiling.
Yeah, that's all I want, is to make people smile. That was
turn the frown upside down.
Yeah.
Any means necessary. That's excellent. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for giving us your time. I know how busy you guys always are. This is great. This episode will go out live on Sunday night, and we encourage everyone to go ahead and watch Smile, because we had an absolute blast. So thanks again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you both.
Anytime. Thanks again. It was great speaking to Joanna. What a really nice lady.
Yeah.
Very talented, and I hope that she brings Smile to a bigger platform. Make a feature. Yep.
Make a feature. That sounds like Aladdin.
Make a feature. Make it happen. Yeah.
But no, she was great. She's lovely. Very talented. If we can get women like her behind the camera for more horror films, especially creature features, like you said, then we're in for a good time.
Definitely. Most definitely. And our next interview here, what a vivacious ball of fun she is. We'd love to have her back on. She should start her own podcast. But she says she doesn't want to, because she doesn't want to throw us off. She doesn't want to be that much competition that she'll screw us right over. Which is excellent, because that's the kind of fire you need to start a podcast. So hashtag start a podcast. Go and do it. Our next guest here is Susannah Farrugia. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Susannah Farrugia. We're very excited to have you on. We watched Itch yesterday. I love the name Itch.
Thank you.
And we're a big lover of the genre. We're a big lover of short films. A lot of the great films you see started off as short films.
Yes.
And so we were very much. And by the way, I've got to say something. J-Mac absolutely loves a film if it's in black and white. So we'll even start there. What made you decide to make this film in black and white?
Well, it was like, I don't want to come across as pretentious by choosing a black and white film, right? Because that's the risk, especially since it's my debut. So I was like, but I never saw it in color. I never thought about it in color. It's mainly because the reason is twofold. So nuns' habits look fantastic. They're black and white. They're fantastic. That's all I'm seeing. So the costume itself decided it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reason number two is a lot more subtextual. The whole film is about binary attraction, all about good or evil, all these black and white instances that she has black and white thinking of, like either she's perfect or she's the worst person ever, either she's pure or she's impure. And I wanted to use that format to back up that kind of thinking of that Sister Jude had. And the third reason was also I kind of really wanted to just see graphic skin effects and blood in black and white. And I thought I had a better chance getting into festivals if it was less graphic. It's still graphic. I wanted it to be as graphic as possible, but less red, like a la Quentin Tarantino Kill Bill. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually, I think that when he made that sequence black and white, that's what allowed it to get the R rating.
Yeah, it's because of ratings.
Yeah.
Right. Nice.
Where did the idea come from initially? What was your first thought on? I want to make a film about this.
I want to make a film about itching nuns.
That's a soundbite. That's a soundbite.
Well, I've always had lifelong severe eczema, so I've always been an itchy gal. Scratchy. My whole MO in my life has just been, how can I scratch without no one else hearing?
Yeah.
You know? So it's very much based on that aspect of suppression. And I'm from Malta, from my very foreign sounding surname. And we are an extremely Roman Catholic country. And when I emigrated to the UK, I realized, like, there's no nuns just walking around. What's up with that? That's a bit. I don't know why. I wasn't expecting nuns. Just I realized that I somehow kind of missed that there were nuns everywhere. I lived opposite a convent everywhere. I was taught by nuns as well. My mother was stood by nuns. I have family members who are nuns. I thought I wanted to be a nun based on the costume, and that I thought that they just stayed inside watching TV. That's what I thought they did. Until I realized there was a whole other thing. Then I said, no, maybe not. But that's, so I kind of combined my love of nuns and nunsploitation, especially. I'll get into that. Nuns, skin conditions that become so severe that you have a your entire face is covered, right? Because every time I get like a flare up on my face, I'm like, I can't go outside.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone. I feel so disgusting. So I always wanted to like cover my entire face. So I wanted that aspect of it. And then what was the other aspect? Cloistered. Oh yeah. Well, I made this film I shot it in November 2020 as part of my graduation project from my master's in film directing at Men's Film School in London.
Okay.
And something happened in 2020.
What could it be?
I don't know, but
all the nuns disappeared.
Something happened, and I thought I need to make a film based in mainly one location to save everyone, to save my money, but to save everyone trouble. And I thought a convent suits itself so well for that, right? So that was like my deciding factor, that the fact that I just need a couple of characters. It's just her, and it's mostly in one room. It's in a church, and then I doubled the room up for another room. So those are my reasons. I thought about it. I thought about this years before. I thought it was something I'd make later in my life, not my debut, because I thought it was too experimental. I didn't want to like start off so uncommercially, let's say. Like,
it's very
too weird. But then I thought, I am too weird. Might as well show it immediately, and maybe that's
preach it. No pun
people
intended.
Interested, and so far so good,
Yeah.
So I got Arrow. So
yeah. I mean, Arrow are obviously they're really behind.
I love it. I love
them.
them. I've been such a huge collector, so it was a dream come true.
Hey, by the way, same. Absolutely.
Love them. I'm downstairs. I have a whole row of Arrow. Yeah.
Would it be Arrow? Do you know what's funny? I said to my wife, she's like, "Oh, what will I get you for Christmas? I don't know what DVD to get you." And I said, "See, as long as I have an arrow on the sleeve, right? As long as it says Arrow on the sleeve, get it." And she has. She's been collecting me these Arrow Blu-rays.
I'm like that with Criterion UK edition.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the real expensive ones that I can't buy myself. So that's why I set it aside for gifts requests.
Yeah. What would you like? Well, I've got this list here.
I've got this list of Criterions that you can buy me, and I have to only be UK edition, or else they won't work on my.
I actually have a Criterion collection Laserdisc of Trainspotting. Now, it's gorgeous. I don't have a Laserdisc player. I never have. I never will. But I just love having that.
You know what? I got for my birthday. I asked for Jean Dielman 23. It's long name, and it's one of my favorite films. And I was so excited, and then I got it, and then we put it in the PS5, and it just didn't work. And I was like, "Isn't this supposed to work with any region?" And it just didn't work. But I just love having it, even though I can't technically watch it. One day, maybe I'll go to America and get a Blu-ray all the way from there. So I don't know. Yes, it's been fantastic to have our support. So amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the decision to you used a word a minute ago that I want to ask you about. Nunsploitation.
Yeah.
I never heard that word before.
Yes, nunsploitation. So another motivation I had is I love nunsploitation, but it's so the only defect, which is what makes it also just as interesting as a subgenre, is that it's so male gazy, right? It's essentially softcore, not even softcore. It's hardcore pornography hidden with a veil of a film, which I'm down. I love that. But I just was curious to see. There's only been one short, and it was a short as well. One film made by a woman about nunsploitation. That's it. So I was like, there's a hole. I'm gonna fill it. I don't want to do anything that's been done before. That's one of the things I really want to stay in my motivation as a filmmaker. I don't want to make something that's been done.
Yeah.
Then it's pointless. So I thought, okay, let's try and make a version of nunsploitation from a female perspective, and that really questions male gaze, because I really wanted to also inquire about, everyone's like, oh, male gaze, as I am 2 seconds ago. But then I was like, what about lesbian gaze? What about, where are lesbians in this thing, or bisexual people? Where are they? Because also want to see tits, but it's not coming across with the grotesqueness that it comes. So it's like, yeah, it is meant for males, but lesbians and bisexual people exist who it could also get off. So what if I make a film specifically for that, queer female gaze, even though that's not really a thing, but I'm trying to make it a thing.
I mean, it probably is. You don't really see a lot of it, eh? I think.
It is. It's just not big.
Yeah.
Actually, the name of the film is Itch, and I'll be honest with you, when I was watching it, I didn't even notice, but I was sitting doing this, but
that's
as I was watching it,
the only thing I wanted. I was like, I hope it's not bad. I hope it's good. But the main thing I wanted was for it to be effective, for it to feel visceral was the key word I kept repeating in my head. I love that. Thank you. I wanted a bodily reaction first off, and then a mental thought process after. That even if you hate horror, even if you don't like black and white shit, if you don't like shorts, you feel something, and I'm glad you said that. Thank you. That means
Thank you. I did it a second ago as well. I'm like, oh, come on.
The whole world scratching with me. I recently changed my mindset on scratching. I was like, all across my life, everyone's like, don't scratch, which is a line in the film. It's like, try not to scratch, and then we cut to her scratching, which I think is a funny moment. That's actually it at Fright Fest. That got a couple of laughs, and they were like, is it okay that we're laughing? I was like, it's brilliant that you're laughing. That's the point. That's what grounds it. So I've always heard that, try not to scratch, stupid ass line every year of my life. And I was like, actually, just enjoy the beauty. Just enjoy that euphoria that you feel while scratching. Since then, my mindset has changed. Just
You're
enjoy
right.
the euphoria.
You're 100% right. You don't need to have eczema to know how nice it feels to scratch an itch.
It feels nice, don't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also depending where it is, it feels better.
I can attest.
Yes, I'm sure.
No, I know there's something about getting a good itch. But do you know what I found as well? Like the more I itch, the more I'm like, oh no, I've left a mark. So I just go like this. I rub a wee bit. If you rub hard, you get the same feeling, but you take away less of the skin.
Yes, I also rub hard. That's another sound bite.
I know. I'm just waiting on you now, J-Mac.
I slap it.
Slap it. Oh
if I get an itch.
Yes, everyone at school used to be like, "Oh, I can do a Chinese burn. I can do." I don't know why I put on a British accent. I'm not from Britain. And people would do that, and I was like, "Oh, that feels good. That's nice. Why are you all complaining?" And then I was like really like proud that I can withstand it for so long. I was like, "Yeah, I can handle it."
Yeah, I'm just going around asking people to do it.
Enjoy it, but yeah.
People thought I was a messiah or something at school because no one could ever make me say "ouch" by giving me a Chinese burn. And then I would go like this. I'd go, right, my turn. And the skin would just come away like a cucumber.
Like a cucumber. That's a good image.
It was breaking a cucumber. No. Do you see any like bigger plans for Itch to become a feature? Was that the plan?
That was not the plan. However, retroactively, people have asked about it. One person said, like, it feels like the start of a film, right? And then you move on and you go on. Maybe I'll make a feature in the future. That sounded weird. Maybe I'll make a feature in the future, but no plans yet. No plans yet.
No.
Okay.
But I love the idea. But it was not the plan. No.
It's funny that you say there, though, that there's not a lot of nuns, which, by the way, none being like there's nuns.
There's none.
They're nuns.
But do you know there is a nun concept that I've not seen? Can you imagine like the Expendables, but they're nuns? Like proper.
Yeah.
The Amendables.
Don't take his name in vain.
I mean, that's a version of nunsploitation. Nunsploitation, which is the subgenre of exploitation, that has subgenres, which is like nuns on motorcycles, motorcycle nuns. What is it? It's nuns on cycles or something. Then like behind cloistered walls, like the idea of like girls having a sleepover, essentially. Like, what do they actually do behind walls, which is lesbian content. But again, it's that kind of thing. There's a lot of things. There's recently been Mrs. Davis by Damon Lindelof of Lost and Watchmen, which was like similar-ish. There wasn't a band of nuns, not a band of Expendables, but that it was silly and actiony. It was a lot more. It was very actiony.
Yeah.
I said she's on a motorcycle. That's why I think of that. There's also singing nuns, aka The Sound of Music, which is one of my favorite films.
Sister Act,
of course.
Yeah.
The Singing Nun, starring Debbie Reynolds. I am obsessed with nun films. I actually run an Instagram page called Nuns in Cinema. Spelled with a S. Nuns in Cinema.
Cinema. Oh,
beautiful.
You get it. Yeah. Put it down low.
That's excellent.
Where I collect images of nuns, even if they're extras, because it's always confused me why people, because extras are supporting our actors,
of course,
supporting background actors. Why you would ever choose a nun, because it really attracts your eye. But there's so many, and I've always been so curious as that. So I'm just like trying to collect every nun I see, just like my own little personal game. I do that with other things. I do that with cake and makeup. I have obsessions with archival and curation. That's a whole other podcast thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting hobby.
Or else you wouldn't have a podcast.
You've definitely put me onto the idea of like what else could you do with nuns and cinema?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Look how they've always been portrayed, right? They're always. We've got like the Conjuring series where they're
either pure horror, you're the devil.
Yeah.
Very, very pure Sound of Music, or for sex purposes. There's not much nuance. And that's what I was trying to do, So I see it from a different angle.
Yeah, you got me quite intrigued now with nuns. I'm going to look up your Nuns in Cinema.
Nuns in Cinema.
My introduction to nuns was Problem Child. Do you remember that series of films?
Yes, Problem Child.
Call them penguins, and they were kind of just like the guardians of him because he was an orphan. And they'd always tell him off and give him sloppy joes and all that stuff.
It's funny. 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's ironic. I collect them, but like I don't want my body to be in this. Cut it.
Okay.
My original VHS tape of The Sound of Music.
Excellent.
The one I watched when I was a kid on repeat.
We have ones
I
like that.
fell asleep before the Nazis came. It's a sweet film.
I have original cassettes still of Highlander, Critters 2.
I love Highlander. Oh,
tell me about
fantastic. I reference it a lot.
No nuns in Highlander.
No nuns, but there is
none.
Mr. Krabs.
There is, that's right.
There is.
True.
I know. He is phenomenal, by the way. He's would be
fantastic
great.
In that.
See, anytime I see a film starting and it comes up at the bottom, Clancy Brown, I'm like, I can relax. This is going to be excellent.
With him.
Yeah.
Actually, recently I saw, what's the actor's name for Patrick Star? What's his name?
I don't want to be
mean.
I can't remember his name.
SpongeBob.
I work with a guy that looks like him.
That's fine.
Patrick Star is character in American animated series SpongeBob. He is voiced by Bill Fagerbakke. Is it?
Bill
Fagerbakke?
Fagerbakke. Yeah. Anyway, I recently saw him. I'm rewatching Oz, which is the HBO.
Yeah,
the first hour-long series of HBO. It's one of my favorite shows, and I'm showing it to my partner.
Nice.
Finally, after many years of convincing, and he was in there, and I was like, "That's Patrick." He's in this really serious, hardcore show as a Nazi, and he's just there as a really hardcore Nazi. Have I said hardcore 3 times? Yes.
Yeah, we'll clip them all together.
Yes. Anyway, let's get on to the next question, boys. I'm sorry to direct you, but we're getting off track.
Just ever so slightly. Ever so slightly.
We do this every episode, so we need you around.
I'm sure this is what happens with podcasts.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Always.
What's the plan for? I mean, what are you going to do next? You said you haven't thought about making this into a feature. What are you doing next?
I wish I was doing something now so I can advertise it, but I'm not. I'm working on living, surviving, paying rent, simple things, taking care of my health. I was in a bus crash a week ago, guys.
Oh, no way.
Get over it. I was in a fucking huge ass bus crash, the entire top of the entire second floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one died, which is shocking. But that threw me for a loop. So I'm thinking, what films do I make? I've made scripts. The problem is getting funding because I don't want to fund another picture.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have scripts, everyone. So if you want to read something, contact me if you're interested. I want to do. My dream is to try to do every kind of genre.
Right.
I have another short horror, but it's a holiday one, like Christmas film.
We love them.
I really also want to look at underrepresented communities, from the most I can from my point of view, right? So disabled, queer, that's all. That's all I can represent. But I also want to make miniseries, drama, musicals. I just want to do everything, but I also have to support myself first, unfortunately. Right now, my day job is which is why I'm a teaching assistant for special needs educational children.
Oh, excellent.
So in the daytime I teach your kids. In the nighttime I scare them. That's what I want to do. Yes, I have scripts done. I'm just working on funding, etc. That's what I'm doing.
That's never the easy part.
Yes, the easy part is the writing. Ironically, you would think that's the hardest. It's not. The getting the money is the hardest. And I'm also looking to adapt my Instagram page, Makeup in Cinema, into a coffee table book. I'd love to talk about cinema in book form because I'm a huge cinephile like you guys. And I just want to talk, or in this case, write about my favorite movies. And one of them, ironically, which coincides nuns and lipstick, is one of my favorite lipstick scenes, is in Black Narcissus by Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger, and I think that really is one of my favorite nun films as well. It's shot gorgeously. It's in Technicolor, and it's recently been referenced as an inspiration for Barbie as one of the 4 walls in the back when they have fake walls.
Yeah,
because they did that with the Himalayas as well. So it's a very if you haven't seen it, I really recommend it. They recently did a retrospective on Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger last December because it was some anniversary. But that's what I'm doing.
You should start a podcast. Reach out to your community.
You don't need no competition. Why are you advertising? Why are you suggesting that?
There is no competition. There is only brotherhood and sisterhood here. The great thing about podcasting. We can be sisters.
We can be sisters. We're all sisters. We're all brothers and sisters in God's land.
Exactly.
Yes.
So yeah,
I also wanted to make a film that was just on the cusp of showing my parents, but in the cusp where I definitely don't show my grandparents.
Right.
That's the level I'm in.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. They've seen it. I don't know.
Try.
My mom's proud. Like, that's good.
Grandma, not so much.
She hasn't seen. She asked for it last Sunday, guys. I swear to God, it's been 3 years.
I'm going to find your granny's email address and send it to us.
You don't have no email. Are you joking? Are you?
I have
real?
carrier pigeon services, though.
Don't say that. That's true.
She checks her pigeons.
Yes, she checks her pigeon.
The pigeon box. There we go.
That's excellent. Yeah,
But I just one more question from myself. How long did it take you to put this together after you'd written it and you thought, right, we're going to start?
Yeah. So I wrote it pretty quickly. I believe it's a 10-page script.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's a 10-page script. I didn't want it to be over 50. In my head, I was like 15 minutes is max. I thought it would be 10. And then I realized 10 minutes is max because a lot of festivals, like it's the undertone that they wanted to be under 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I can cut it, I can cut it. But we shot for 4 days. The first day was in the church called Asylum in Peckham, London. And the rest of the 3 days were in a photography studio that we decorated.
Okay.
Like we painted the walls, we put the floorboards, etc. Got as many legitimate looking set design things. It took 4 days, and then I took like a couple of months to edit it. Like I would say 3 max. I think I finished in February. It was December, January, February editing, and not only editing because like I did it pretty quickly, but then it's like back and forth with producers, with other tutors. Remember, this was a graduation student film, so I wanted their POV on the subject. And I've made like 2 cuts I would change in my honest heart. It wouldn't even change. I would hold for longer.
Right.
But there's no point now. You know, I was just like, if this is what was seen in festival circuits, this is what was seen. This is what it is. And then in my head will live the other person. But we premiered. I'm so proud of how well it did without sounding shit. Without sounding egoistic. I'm really proud because my dream was to get into Fantastic Fest. In general, in my life, not even with this film, in my life. I really, I read Elijah Wood goes to Fantastic. I don't read. I'm joking. I saw a video once of Elijah Wood describing Fantastic Fest because he gets tattoos there every year because they do random tattoos every year.
Oh, excellent.
In Austin, Texas. And I was like, what is this festival? And so I looked it up and I was like, it's amazing. It's the largest genre film festival in the US. And I got in. And I found out on my birthday, and I was really depressed on my birthday. I was buying reduced birthday cake from Sainsbury's. I would have gone to Tesco, but there's no Tesco near me at this point. And I just started bawling in the middle of Sainsbury's, and it was emotional. But we premiered officially at Macabro Fest in Mexico, and then a couple of days after we had our European premiere in London. Cineworld, that's the square, guys.
Yeah,
very nice.
And that is where I met Alan Simmons, who is delightfully the person who helped curate the selection of Sharp Shorts in Arrow Streamings. He saw it years ago. He saw it in 2021. He sat next to me, this guy. I had no idea who he was. He was writing during my film, and I was like, it was my first time seeing my film in the cinema. I hadn't seen what the DCP looked like in person, so I was like really hoping the DCP was okay with the sound, because that was what I was mostly concerned about. Everyone forgets.
Yep. Oh no, I shit myself all the time with
Everyone forgets sound. That was what I was mostly concerned about, because that's what I think really differentiates a student film from a proper film.
Yeah,
100%. Yes.
Right, because everyone forgets that's 50%. I would argue even more, 50% of the film.
Yeah.
And this guy was writing, And then a couple of days later, he wrote best short films from Fight Fest Day. Well, and I was like, I was at the top, and I was like, ah. And then he's like, a couple of months ago, he messaged me, and he's like, I haven't gotten this film out of my head, so would you like to go on streaming? And I was like, oh, yes, immediately, please, let me. Especially on Arrow, like I was literally like literally behind me is my Arrow collection, you know. So it's beyond. And I literally give Arrow gifts. And I have Arrow shirts. Like, it's so stupid
I don't have a shirt.
how much of a dream come true this is with regards to that. And so many people have logged this on Letterboxd since in a week. So I didn't even tell you the bus crash happened last week. So literally last week, it was the day it came on streaming and the day I had my bus crash. So it was the best and worst day of my life. And I'm recovering. So that's why I'm like, well, I'm always erratic, but that's why I'm going on about how I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. But
well,
I am
by the way,
make horror movies. Yes, that's what.
Look at that. I mean, ride that momentum. Think about how far you've come just from putting pen to paper and how it all kind of fell into place for you. I think that's a sign from the universe. It was a hard shoot. Like, COVID really made things extra difficult, and extra expensive. So I didn't have an assistant director, for example. I was my own AD because I needed literal people. We're counting people in crew, right? So 10 people can be in this room. I need my camera operators. I need my actors. I need my makeup artist. No duh. I need my script soup and my producer. And I was like, okay, well, in order to have a second AC, I can't have an AD. So I just did all the work myself, which is fine. It's a short film. It's 8.5 minutes, for God's sakes. But it was that kind of thing of like logistics over. I love logistics. I love admin, even though that's strange to say. I'm very obsessive compulsive as a person, in case you couldn't understand from my film. If you couldn't guess, I'm pretty self-hating obsessive compulsive. Oh, no.
It's not me. It's not me at all. Lorno there is pretty. But it was just a lot, and I'm happy I got through with it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, congratulations. I mean, you did it with your debut film. You managed to get it into festivals. And
the people are watching it all over the world. It's so happy. I'm so happy.
So rare.
And this week, I'm at. I mean, it's a private party, but they post it publicly on Instagram, so I guess I can say I'm at a Dykes of Darkness party. It's an orgy. So then it's an orgy in San Francisco, and they're playing my film on a loop with all the porn. And I love it. I was like, finally a screening someone can fuck to my film. Like, I didn't know that's what I wanted. But I guess that's what I wanted.
Wow.
You know?
What's the address?
It's a very subtextual film. Because of COVID,
it's
I
private.
cut out any relation. Like, I'm grateful for it. I don't think it needed kissing. But, like, because of COVID, I was like, no physical contact. The only physical contact is the fight
touching of our own leg.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, is that why all the nuns were spaced out in the beginning? Because of COVID?
They were all high.
No, they're physically.
They're physically spaced out. Yeah, and they're also my producer's housemates because of the same bubble. But they're also spaced out in a way I hope most people do, because it's pretty symmetrical, and most convents aren't like overfilled, especially these are novitiates. So these are the new wave of the nuns. They're not nuns. They're nun trainees in a sense. So there wouldn't be a whole mass of them. But yes, in reality, that is the reason for sure.
Right.
All my decisions are like, I want to say are story first, but no, in reality, it was like, how do I keep people alive and people safe? That was my main priority, especially working with some elderly actors. Like, I didn't want to put them at risk, especially on the first day. Like, I was dealing with 70+ actors in a vulnerable time, so I didn't want to put anyone at risk.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, but that in this way it works for the story because blah blah blah. I worked backwards in that regard.
Yeah,
you did a fine job. It was enjoyable, and horrible at the same time. So
I love that. That's a quote. Can I put that on my poster?
Absolutely.
Enjoyable and horrible. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Did you like the cheese grater scene? That's the scene I
Yes.
Fucking hated it.
I bring it up just as a anecdote because I never bring this up in normal conversation because I'm talking to 3-year-olds. That's the cheese grater I use daily.
That's your own cheese grater.
That's my own cheese grater. I taped it down the side, and the makeup artist did a fantastic job. Her name is Chelsea Murphy. She did a wonderful job in a very short amount of time with very low resources. So I'm very grateful for her. But yes, that is the cheese grater. I grate my Parmigiano with. Yes. It lived a long life. I just wanted her to have like a nice holiday acting.
I hope it got a credit in the end.
Cheese grater, sure.
Cheese grater as herself, yeah.
Brie Larson.
No,
cheese grater.
That's my God.
You did not know who you were going to talk to, did you?
No. It's been totally worth it.
Thank you so much, you guys. You've been so lovely and such good chats. You should have a podcast.
Oh, we should. Really should.
Yeah. You jibber jabber all the time. Maybe you should call it Jibber Jabber.
Your ideas are phenomenal. Need to use these ideas.
I know.
Thank you very much, Susannah. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing whatever you do in the future when it comes.
And you should come back on as well, and we'll do it for a good hour.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, you guys.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much for all your time.
Bye.
What a wild ride Susannah is. No, she's rock and roll. She's rock and roll. That's what I meant. That's a wild ride, right? She'll laugh. She'll laugh.
Oh, I know. She got a really good sense of humor. She was fantastic.
The sound bites alone.
We could probably make we interviewed her for about 40 minutes. We could probably make 35 minutes of sound bites. She was amazing. Amazing.
No. Both guests have been amazing, and we can't thank them enough for all their time. Thank you again to the guys at Fetch. We've got Genevieve, Josh, and Tom. The guys always set us up with some great talent. So we're very thankful for that. Make sure you support everything that these guys are doing. As always, you support it, and we'll see more of it. And that's what we love. This is the kind of stuff that we're into.
Yes, very much so.
So it's quite class. It's quite class. Stay tuned because we will have another Arrow short film special episode coming up. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, tell us in the comments. Tell your friends, share it, like it. Follow all these guys that you've watched today. Make sure you download the Arrow app on all available smart devices. And you could probably watch it on the browser as well. I know you can. And see all that they have to offer. Thank you very much for joining us this Sunday night. We are not live, so for all of you that I bet have joined in after we said that and been like, oh, why are they no bringing our comments up? Why are they not speaking? We're no live. We are not live, right? This is a pre-record, but we do this with absolute love for you guys so that you guys enjoy it. So make sure you check out those really cool short films. Stay tuned for the next couple. And if you've heard of any short films that you actually like, smash them into the comments. Let us know about them. Maybe let the guys I don't know all about them. And maybe we'll do more with the short films because those ones were great. And I'm looking forward to the next round, if you know what I mean. J-Mac, anything you'd like to say before we go away?
Following the discussion we had earlier on, no.
And on that note, thanks again, guys, and we will see you when we next put an episode out, which is either going to be Sunday or before. You stick around and you'll find it.
Cheery bubbles.
Bye, guys. See you later.